guys out there? This is Sugar Shane Mosley. This is AJ Knows Boxing.
It's your boy Keith One Time Thurman giving a shout out to AJ Knows Boxing.
Yo, what's up, fight fans? AJ here. Y'all know what I do. Talk boxing, everything in boxing. And today, it's only right that I come and give y'all the top 5 reasons why I feel Gennady Golovkin is overrated. This is only my opinion. But, you know, my opinion be sticking on motherfuckers. It be hurting people's feelings. So, you know, a lot of people's feelings might get hurt, but I don't give a fuck. Now, let's get right into the video. Reason number 1, Gennady Golovkin's resume. When I look at Gennady Golovkin's resume, I see a whole bunch of flawed fighters, underachievers, and guys that aren't really that good. You looking at the Dominic Ways of the world, you're looking at the David Lemieux, you're looking at the Willie Monroe Jr.'s, ESPN fighters. This motherfucker fights, you know, he just goes on the streets of New York because you know he loves to fight in New York, and we got a lot of bums in my city, like, and he finds these motherfuckers and he says, you know, clean these motherfuckers up, bring them to the Dominicans to get a haircut, and you know they gonna look real good at the weigh-in. They're already skinny, they're already like 155 pounds, and he does that, and he gets, you know, he gets his victories. He got Macklins on his, you know, his resume. He got the Martin Murrays, the Marco Antonio Rubios, the Daniel Gills, the Adamas, the Curtis Stevens. And Curtis Stevens is a definite New York City bum, and it's nothing impressive. Gabriel Rosado's the perennial losers of the middleweight division. He has taken on those guys, but he hasn't found a way to take on the Peter Quillins, the Daniel Jacob. He hasn't found a way to fight Canelo, and he had a $10 million offer. I don't want to hear none of that shit from Gennady Golovkin fans about, oh, $10 million is peanuts. The motherfucker never fought for $10 million. So why can't you take a fight for $10 million? And this goes back to what Floyd said in the Fight Hype interview. A lot of these fighters is getting paid too good, and that's making them not want to fight nobody. If Gennady Golovkin is getting paid handsomely to fight Dominic Wade and David Lemieux, Small Kell Brooks, why the fuck should he go up and, you know, take on a risk and fight a guy that's actually good? And that's all goes back to what Floyd said, and his resume shows it. He ain't fighting nobody. He's not fighting nobody that's a threat to him. Nobody that's a threat to him. These guys, if they were fighting amongst each other, they probably would look good. If Willie Monroe fought Martin Murray, that'll probably be a competitive fight. But against a guy like Gennady Golovkin, who's a clear-cut best middleweight in the middleweight division right now, he needs to fight the guys that's number 2, number 3. And when you go and look at the guys that's number 2 and number 3, Gennady Golovkin hasn't fought them. He hasn't fought a Chris Eubank Jr. He should take that fight. He hasn't fought a Billy Joe Saunders. He hasn't fought Andy Lee. He hasn't fought a lot of these guys. He hasn't fought Hassan Endam. And it makes no sense why he hasn't fought these guys, because they're in his division and he's the king of the division. And like he says, he wants to get all the titles. And what better way to get all the but by fighting the guys that are the top guys in the division, which he hasn't been able to do besides fighting David Lemieux, a very flat-footed, telegraphed fighter. Now, reason number 2, Gennady Golovkin is defensively inefficient. I like the way I use that big word. He is defensively inefficient in his fights, especially in his last fight. Let's talk about his last fight. Let's talk about the Willie Monroe fight, because these are fights where Gennady Golovkin tries to make the case where I wanted to get hit. And a lot of motherfuckers that follow Gennady Golovkin, a lot of people that follow Gennady Golovkin are people that try to live vicariously through their idol, which is Gennady Golovkin. I see you motherfuckers seem to believe everything this guy says. Let me tell you something about getting hit. Nobody wants to get hit. Nobody willingly wants to get hit, especially if you don't have to get hit. And if Gennady Golovkin's jab is as superior as a lot of people try to make the cases, he has a great jab, he has a phenomenal jab, great footwork, why the fuck is he getting hit? Why can't he just figure out how to move his fucking head? Like, the guy needs to move his head a little bit more and get the fuck out of the way of a lot of those unnecessary punches that he's taking. And this is not only something I'm saying, this is something that a lot of people have said. Teddy Atlas have said. John David Jackson has said. This is something that's universal throughout the boxing community. Gennady Golovkin is defensively inefficient, and he needs to move his head, and he doesn't do that. What's going to happen when he's in the ring with a sharpshooter like a Erislandy Lara, like a Canelo? What's going to happen then? Like, we haven't seen him against guys that have high accuracy in landing their punches. And when he does step in the ring with one of these type of guys, it's going to be a problem for Gennady Golovkin, because his power is only going to take him so far. Like a lot of people have said, a lot of great fighters have said, especially Bernard Hopkins, who just got out of a fight. His last fight was with one of the guys that's one of the strongest in boxing right now. And that guy didn't knock out Bernard Hopkins. And Bernard Hopkins is an old guy. And Bernard Hopkins will tell you, power doesn't win fights. Sergey Kovalov had to show more than just power to win that fight, which he did. But we have never seen Gennady Golovkin show more than just power to win a fight. Every fight is a telegraph fight. He's doing the same things. He's landing the same punches. He's robotic, very robotic in the way he goes about everything he does. And that's something that a lot of the guys from Eastern Europe, they seem to be very robotic. When you're looking at the Terence Crawfords versus the Victor Postars was very robotic, but Terence Crawford was able to switch it up. When Gennady Golovkin steps into the ring with a guy that's able to switch it up, he's going to be in for some problems. Now, reason number 3, his unwillingness to challenge himself. And this just piggybacks off reason number 2 a little bit. His unwillingness to challenge himself because the boy don't got a full bag of tricks. He doesn't have a full bag of tricks. So he doesn't want to move up and challenge himself and fight the guys like James DeGale, which are top 5 guys in 168 pounds. He didn't want to move up to fight Andre Ward. Didn't even want to take a catch weight at 164 pounds after he said he'd knock out everybody from 154 to 168 pounds. You know what that told me right there when I heard that shit? He knows who he gonna knock out. He already got his list of guys that he's going to knock out. And everybody that he don't think he can knock out, he just alleviates them from the situation. Because when you're talking about guys like Erislandy Lara, talking about Canelo Alvarez, he's not pushing to make these fights. He is not pushing to make these fights. Even guys like Demetrius Andrade at 154 said, when it's time, I'm going to step the fuck up. After I finish 154, I'm going to step the fuck up and I'm going to fight a Gennady Golovkin. You got guys like Andre Durrell at 168 pounds. Gennady Golovkin could make a fight with an Andre Durrell if he really wanted to. If these people wanted to fight each other, they will fight each other. But Gennady Golovkin doesn't want to take on the challenge. And this is very, very, very detrimental to his career. Because every great fighter, you have Bernard. Bernard took those chances. You got Marvin Hagler. He took those chances. You have the guys that came before you. They took those chances. Carl Froch took those chances. Jermaine Taylor took those chances. It may not have went in their favor all the time, but they were able to take those chances. And when you got guys like Aaron Pryor that just passed away, he's a prime example of taking chances. But fighters today, and especially Gennady Golovkin, don't take chances. Everything is calculated, but people want to bash Floyd Mayweather Jr. for leaving the game plan out that, you know, fight low risk, high reward. But when you're fighting low risk, high reward, you still have to fight people to get to that point. And Gennady Golovkin hasn't even fought people to get to the point, and yet he's been able to capture 3 out of the 4 major titles, not including the IBO. The boy don't take chances, but his fans seem to encourage him fighting whoever he fucking wants. He could pick on welterweights, but nobody else can pick on welterweights. He could avoid prime fighters like Andre Ward, James DeGale, but nobody talks about that. He could duck guys in his own fucking division. He could not talk about Chris Eubank Jr., but fight somebody that's in Chris Eubank Jr.'s own fucking promotional company, own stable, that's in a weight class underneath him. Come on, 2 weight classes underneath. But reason number 4, the media hype of Gennady Golovkin. The media has made Gennady Golovkin something he isn't. They have portrayed this man to be a monster. He is not a monster. He is in fact a good boy. He's a good boy with a nice smile. He ain't no fucking monster. Gennady Golovkin ain't as bad as people make him out to be. And it just shows back to the resume. If you're not fighting nobody, I am a fucking 24-year-old man. If I'm gonna pick on high school kids, I have a great possibility to fuck up a lot of high school children. Gennady Golovkin is a grown man beating on children. These people that Gennady Golovkin are beating on, like I mentioned in the first reason, they aren't on his level. But the media is making it seem like these guys are on his level. And you can just see in his pay-per-view numbers, everybody that's anybody knows that David Lemieux was not fucking with Gennady Golovkin. Anybody that's anybody knows David Lemieux's not fucking with Gennady Golovkin. But the media try to sell that fight. And Oscar De La Hoya knew David Lemieux wasn't fucking with Gennady Golovkin, but he just wanted to make a quick cash flip and leave Canelo out the way for a little while. Leave Canelo out the way and give Gennady Golovkin an opportunity to win the IBF title, which he did. But Gennady Golovkin is not no fucking boogeyman that people make him out to be. And Gennady Golovkin knows it. That's why he's not trying to fight anybody that's detrimental to his position in boxing right now. He's not going to take the fight because he know he can't win those fights. And even if were to win some of the fights that people want to see him in, it's not going to be in the fashion that we're used to seeing Gennady Golovkin winning. It's not going to be a knockout victory. It's going to be a slow, grueling 12-round fight where Gennady Golovkin might get fucked up. It might go to the cards. It might be a split decision. He might lose. And Gennady Golovkin isn't used to that. He's used to ending shit early, which it's not going to happen if he steps in the ring with guys like Erislandy Lara, Canelo, James DeGale, Andre Ward. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And the media is to blame. The media is to blame. They have this guy in Apple commercials. They have this guy being marketed to Mexicans, and he's not even a Mexican. I have never seen some shit like this. When Floyd Mayweather did this shit, when Roger Mayweather did this shit, dressed up like Mexicans, they got bashed. They got motherfucking banished. People hated that shit. I remember when Floyd came out looking like a Mexican. Mexicans booed the shit out of Floyd. But Gennady Golovkin could do it? Who the fuck said this Congascanian motherfucker could put on sombreros and shit and be embraced by Mexican people? And Roger Mayweather was fighting his ass off. He was knocking motherfuckers out. Floyd Mayweather, that pretty boy Floyd, he was not no defensive. He was always defensive, but the motherfucker was throwing his hand. And he was putting hands on people. Go back to that Arturo Gotti fight. You see how that boy was landing grueling shot. But Mexicans, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Mexicans let Gennady Golovkin do shit, but a black fighter can't do that shit? And Mexicans are people of color. I don't get it. But finally, reason number 5 why I believe Gennady Golovkin is overrated is because Gennady Golovkin is one-dimensional. He's a one-trick pony, and he hasn't even displayed to us a full array of skills yet. People love to talk about Gennady's ring generalship, but it's pretty simple to be the ring general when the people that you're in the ring with are clearly not on your level. It's clear as day these people aren't on his level, and that piggybacks, and I know my whole argument piggybacks off arguments that I previously stated, but it's clear as day. Gennady Golovkin is one-dimensional. If he doesn't knock you out, what is he going to do? We haven't seen Gennady Golovkin at his peak not knock motherfuckers out. We haven't seen Gennady Golovkin go the distance with anybody that is of his level. If a person of Gennady Golovkin's stature and status in boxing hasn't even faced the guys in the top 10, we could go through the top 10 on Ring Magazine right now. He hasn't faced a full array of middleweight. He has not faced them. He's just basically faced the same type of guys over and over, which lets everybody know that this person is one-dimensional. Gennady Golovkin does not have the full bag of tricks, and all his fans seem to not understand this shit. This man only fights one particular type of fighter. His style is a particular type of style. Come forward. He did it against Kell Brook. He was getting hit, but he's so big. He was bigger than Kell Brook. Kell Brook's punches couldn't affect him. But anybody else, a real middleweight landing those same type of shots with Gennady Golovkin using that same predictable style would be a problem to Gennady Golovkin. And people seem to not understand this. Gennady Golovkin is one-dimensional, and I prefer my fighters to be a fighter, make adjustments in the ring. And Gennady Golovkin hasn't had to make adjustments in the ring. And the only fight that I could say Gennady Golovkin adjusted to was the David Lemieux fight, which he said prior to the fight that it was going to be a brawl. But when he got into the ring, it was not a brawl. It was a calculated fight, and Gennady Golovkin did use his jab, and he couldn't just keep the fight a boxing match. He just reverted back to his old ways. But he definitely stepped up, and he tried to use more of a jab, use more of a technical boxing standpoint, but that's the only time Gennady Golovkin has ever in the ring switched it up. And I like to see him switch it up against a lot of these guys in his own division that he's claiming to be king of. And with that being said, it's AJ Knows Boxing. This is my 5 reasons why Gennady Golovkin is overrated. And leave a comment, like the video if you like the video, and let me know what you think. And I'm out. 1. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. But make sure you follow my boxing Instagram page at Undisputed Boxing, and follow me personally on all my social networks, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at WhoIsFlea. Do that right now. Links will be in the description. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, AJ Knows Boxing, for the realest boxing talk on the internet, and talk about everything from hip hop to bitches to life. I keep it real with y'all, and I'm out.